Hello everyone, welcome to Workspace Wednesday. As before, these are all the updates for November as reported by Google in their email updates and things. So we'll go through them one at a time. This is a reminder from last month that you might well still find you out quite on the new version of the chat. And the new version basically takes all the old inline things into the new threaded version of it, and there are a few extra buttons which I'll talk about in some of the slides as we go through today. If you've got particular times when I only left it in, it's been in there, we've done it a couple of months now, just in case there's times I think, well, actually we're really busy at that time, we don't really want them to be turning the thing off while we're in the thick of doing some projects. So you've got a link on the slide to request a specific time when they do the updates for you. They're not guaranteeing it, but they'll try and be there, and you should be getting banners. Is everyone on the new version yet? Have you seen the banners and moved across, or are you still on the old versions?
No, I'm not seeing any banners yet, Paul.
Yeah, you get a little banner across the top. The admin person gets emails and the end user gets banners just to say. So you get 2 weeks notice. We had ours a couple of weeks ago, so we're now on the new version now. So, and it just means that any of your old ones, which weren't, any new ones you make still do go to the threaded versions. Just the old ones that are being converted, and for some reason they have to turn everything off. So I just thought it was important to keep you up to date with that, really, in case it impacts any projects that you're doing where you need it there. Same with this one. It's just an update on this. I'm keen to make sure. I'm aware that in the past we did announce the significant changes to YouTube. Remember when the 18+ rule came in? We did announce it. We announced it when it was announced, and we didn't repeat it often enough, I think. And some customers didn't catch the message quite, and we literally the day after we had people on board saying, what else happened to YouTube? And we said, well, we did tell you. So I'm just keen to make sure we don't everyone's fully reminded. So I'd rather you're bored with me saying it than not. But there is an update in as much as Figma have now released their import tool, so you can start to import your jams into Figma. And it's supposed, I've not had a chance to do it, if I'm honest, so I don't actually know, but the video's there to show you how. The guys from Google, should get all the functionality of the jams in exactly the same situation in the Figma. So I think it's good for them that they've got ahead of the market, because the other ones that were recommended, which were Lucid Spark and Miro, are all equally good, online Jamboard kind of whiteboarding tools, but Figma is ahead of the game with their import tool, so it might be worth you having a look if you've got big users. And of course, if you don't know if you've got big users, I mean, I'm thinking about Jason, for example, and Pete, actually all of you are really big organizations. You can ask your admin person to give you a report on what usage there is, so you know who to target and remind to think about that importing task. So that's just an updated reminder, and that'll keep going until next year. We might not do it every single month, but it will be there for, well, he's going to try and play the video. I don't want you to do that. I'm not paying attention, you see. Still a bit hungover. Come on, move. I'm also on really, but you don't realize I've not got hugely massive internet at my house, but I'm in Lancaster in the in-laws' house, and theirs is terrible. It's really slow. I'm really struggling. I was just doing a few more updates this morning. I'm really struggling to waiting for things to upload. Oh, I see I've gone too far again. I'm just not getting up to this. Here we go. So you can now add GIFs directly into Google Slides. And the GIF there that I've added there on the left is an indication of how I felt when I was told that I was a grandfather, just to prove you can insert GIFs. And then there's a little video that shows you what it looks like, a little GIF showing you what it looks like and things. Until this point, you've been able to add GIFs. What I've done when I got a GIF from the newsletter is I have to say, you can't copy and paste it. If I'm honest, I've not tried recently. It was when I was doing it this morning. I said, I wonder if you can do that now. In the past, you couldn't copy and paste a GIF. If you did, you just got a still image. But so I used to have to save it as a GIF and then upload it from the computer to get the GIF into my slide deck. And it might be you can copy and paste now, but you can actually for now find GIFs directly in the slide deck, which is kind of quite nice. And there's a picture of me, like I said, when I first heard about my grandson. It was weird. We arrived, and literally as soon as we sat down, they phoned to say, "Oh, the baby's arrived." It's weird that literally the very second we sat down, the phone went. It was kind of, we didn't have a cup of tea or anything. Anyway, moving on. So this year, I think this is really exciting. This is going to be fantastic. Education Plus only for this one, but classroom analytics. So the teacher, as a default, gets their classroom analytics for themselves, and they can see which things are missing and what students are doing and how they're doing and their marks and all that kind of stuff. But admins can enable this for SLT, and they get overviews of all the classes, so they can get in there and can have a look at all the progress. So they can actually start to think about, well, do we need to think about intervention? We've got some spare TA time we can allocate to this class because that class is really struggling. The teacher's already told us, and this confirms it. So it just allows them to do that monitoring role a little bit better. And that's the key, isn't it? In all of these things, in any institution, large or small, if you're not monitoring progress, and knowing where the blockages are, how do you know what to do next? How do you enable the learning to proceed if you're not keeping a track of it? So for the senior leaders, like I say, admins have to enable it for senior leaders, but once they've done, they can do it by OU if they want to. They don't have to do it for the entire organization. So if you've organized your classes and things into OUs and things, then you can allow them just access to specific places of your domain rather than everywhere, which is kind of quite handy. Hi, Andy. I think this is a really good one. I don't know if it's just coincidental, but recently I've been looking for documents that I've known are not mine, and the default setting on my drive is that it's set to owned by me. So the fact that I can go in there and say, actually, I'm pretty sure it was Amy or Jason or whoever that shared it with me, or who was the owner of that document. So you can actually, and the smart chips will start to appear automatically. There's a few slides about smart chips starting to appear automatically, which is a great thing. It's all kind of around that new Google Material Design 3 principles of making the interface that much better for the end user. And this is one of those things. So those should start to appear automatically as you go along. So you should see them appearing in yours as well. So we've got the new streamlined version of Google Chat now, and you start now to get, there's a slightly different layout in that you used to have chat and spaces separately. We've now got them in the same place, and you can see on the left-hand side of the little image that the spaces are above chat, and then they're scrollable. You hover over the chat bit and just scroll, and you go through those, and you hover over the space bit and go through those. You can still get to them pretty quick, but you also get this home and this mentions. The mentions I really like. So if you click on the mentions, it tells you each of the places where you were specifically mentioned. So if you want to just catch up with when you were mentioned, it's really, really nice. And I did check literally moments ago, and the starred is you can star individual chats. So if someone's said something significant, in the 3 dots, the overflow 3 dots, the little skinny snowman thing you get on when you hover over a comment now, in there should be a starred option start to appear. It's not there for us yet. So you can actually highlight those, and then you can go back in those and unstar them. So once you've dealt with them or whatever you want to do. So there's been a huge amount of updates to Google Chat to make it a much more useful tool, I think. And I don't think it's an interesting one. We encourage people to use chat because we think it's a really useful tool. We use it loads, and we use it both internally within our own organization, but also we use it loads with other people. So many of you might even be on chats with us, so that you've got that. And it doesn't reduce the number of messages. It puts them in a different place, and it changes the way that you deal with them. It's kind of, and I think that actually helps with that workflow. So you don't necessarily need that official email audit trail for some of the messages you send. You just need oh, Paul, can you remind me where that thing is, or those kinds of things. And it's a great tool for that, and it's been invaluable for us. We use it a huge amount, like I say. So new interface, but if you haven't been updated, you might not yet see that yet. So I think Jason said he hadn't seen it yet, so that probably isn't in yours yet. And I'm assuming the new interface comes with the update to the threads. I don't know that that's true, but I'm assuming it does. So, Andy, yes, you got a question?
Yeah, just on the back of that about making it a general chat group. Have you thought about maybe changing the name of the monthly updates one to C Learning Community Group? And then it can be for anything. It's not just for monthly stuff. It's for all those instances you just mentioned, like, hey, where's this gone? Anybody heard about that? What tool do you use for this? Just so all the community within C Learning, for whatever reason, can use that forum for chatting and raising issues and querying things.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea. And I think, it isn't just about those who come to the monthly updates or who watch the monthly updates. You're quite right. It's just a way to support our customers that might need it. So yeah, so definitely we'll have a think about that. I'll put some information in the description as well, so that it's clear those as people join anew, they see the description, they should know that it's, it says, please encouraging them to ask any kind of questions. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Yeah, we'll have a think about that and get onto that. So those of you who use app sheets, you can now, there's an app sheet smart chip inside Google Docs. Particularly clever if you do use app sheets, because you can actually access the data that the app script is kind of making use of. You can actually take actions and you can trigger automations. So you've got, if you're into that kind of thing, I don't have an app sheets account. I don't know if anyone else does here, but I don't know if you use them. But if it's one of those things, it's an additional license cost, isn't it, an app sheet license? So you've got to have made that decision to pay for it. But if you have, you can actually start to, automate things within the document rather than having to go somewhere else to do it. So that's kind of quite nice, I think, for any developers on the call that are going to use that kind of tool. I've just mentioned about the starring import in chats. Then that comes to chat, but like I say, I've tested it for us this morning. It's not yet there. Hopefully it will arrive soon. This is quite nice. If you use your tasks in Google in your mail / calendar, on the top right hand corner, you'll see next to the cog in your calendar, you've got you should have two little icons, a calendar icon and a tasks icon, and you can flip between the two now just to test them out. So if you've got someone that uses those extensively, then a kind of quite nice way to, because I think particularly, in the kind of jobs that you do, you maybe, the little panel on the side is not necessarily big enough for all the tasks that you might need to be engaging in on a daily basis. To have the facility to, spread them out and look at them whole screen, I think is a really, really useful thing. So that's there for us on ours now. So I don't know if it's there for yours or not, but it's a great, literally a tiny little additional functionality just makes your management of your tasks that little bit easier. That's a great thing, I think. Great thing for students as well. If they're doing a project, if you're doing a large, written task, kind of project for end of assessment and things, to give themselves tasks and dates and things and have it somewhere neat and easy where they can get to it and keep track of how they're doing. I think it might be a really good thing, particularly if they start to share their calendar with you, so you can help them monitor that and can have conversations about it. It might be a really good kind of tracking tool for you and students as they do their work. So it's definitely one that's worth looking at if you're not yet using tasks. Okay, so 2 new languages added to Google Meet captions for those people that wanted to make use of those, which are Finnish and Hebrew. And there are that second list there is ones that were in beta until recently and are now no longer in beta. So they're kind of fully functioning and fully up to speed. So if you've got any people who would rather have that message, and don't forget, you can actually, if you are doing anything, you can actually be running a Meet at the front of the screen and have a Turkish or a Vietnamese student in the class on a Chromebook, following it through with the closed captions turned on, so they can hear what you're saying if you're presenting into a Meet on the screen. They don't need to be in a different room. It's a tool that they can use that will translate things for them in real time, and the accuracy of it is really, really high. So it'd be an incredible accessibility tool for that particular student if English isn't their first language. So that, and when we went over to Dublin for the Champions Symposium a few weeks back, there were people using it for that because they weren't all natural English speakers. There were 2 Ukrainian women, 2 Ukrainian champions who got there. It took them 2 days to get to the UK by buses and trains, and eventually got to Poland, I think, and got a flight from there. You can't imagine the commitment of these people. It's astonishing. But they had a Meet on the whole time, and the person from actually allowed that to happen. So they were doing their live translations through a Google Meet in each of the sessions. So it really works. It's fantastic. So anyway, so that's that. So there's more languages there. I mean, that's the language pattern. I mean, I'm sure you've kind of clocked this. The language pattern now is the way Google works now. They invariably start with English US, and over time go through and trying to make it region specific as much as they can by adding in as many languages over time. I mean, I presume that's a particularly challenging task. I'm desperately keen for them to get the translate bit. I don't know if you've clocked this. There's 2 parts to it. There's the text part and there's the voice or the audio part or the speech part. So they'll sometimes, for example, in Ireland, they've got a text translation, so they can turn their devices into Irish. That's absolutely fine, but they can't use voice typing because there isn't a voice engine to turn Irish into English or English into Irish or whatever. So they haven't got the voice engine part yet, which is a great shame for the Irish school, particularly because it's a growth area for Google. So they do need to think about that. But it's there's always two parts to it. So you might well find that depending on where the person that needs it is from, they might not necessarily always have that full translate and functionality, because either I suspect the text bit will come first and then the voice bit will come afterwards, but they might not always be there at the same time. So just to be aware of that. So improved queries in Google search. It's just about the suggestions they've kind of done. I presume they're using a bit of AI in the background to make those suggestions for you that little bit better, so you find things that little bit quicker. And that's also again on the back of the new interface that's arrived, because it's different layout. I think they need to improve the search, and so it just gives you a bit of chance of finding things that little bit quicker, I think, which is good. So we can move on from that. This is the one, Chris. Go into the settings, 3 dots at the bottom. Go into the settings, and in there you'll find in the general bit there's the option to do the raise hand bit now. The host has to turn it on. Under general, I think it is, and then there's I've already done it. I raise your hand automatically. It's already raised. So now you can raise your hand, Chris. You're doing it. There we go.
I'm still going to make a cardboard one because I wanted a cardboard hand. Look at
It's
that.
done it for me.
For you. Doesn't seem to work for me. Come on.
Oh, I'm very disappointed it's not worked for you, because I thought you'd be delighted.
You should never. I would. Yeah, you should never.
And so now it's raised as all. Now it's the thing about this. It clearly just worked for me a moment. It's a raised. Put it down now. But all the time that I'm talking now, because I'm the active speaker, it won't work for anyone. It's only once you go quiet again. So I'm going to stop talking. Try and shuffle to the left or right a bit, so your hands separate from your head a little bit. I'm going to stop talking now. Andy got there before you, Chris.
I did raise my hand though. I was going to say in the settings under general, if you go onto there is a tick box you can set for raise your hand automatically.
Yeah.
Was yours turned off, Andy?
I've turned it on now.
Yeah, mine was set
All right,
to
so
off,
maybe each individual. I thought it was the host that has to turn it on.
Yeah, I've switched mine on, but for some reason it doesn't seem to like my hand.
I wonder if it's because of the dark background. I've got a very pale background here.
Yeah,
I've clicked that on.
There we go. It's worked.
There you go.
There we go.
It works.
Fantastic. Yeah, there we go.
I've just clicked that on now. So
It does say try and keep your hands separate from your face. I think it gets confused if it's on over your face. It's supposed to be separate.
there you are. Does that work? Not doing that, is it?
No, never mind. Unless there's that, is there a hand up?
Oh,
Oh. Were you playing, Pete, or did you?
I'm just playing. Yeah,
Right.
I'm trying. I'm
Okay,
waving in front
have a
of
go.
him.
Have a go. See if it works for
I mean,
you.
it could be that it just knew that Chris would be talking rubbish, so it wouldn't let him raise his hand anyway. This AI stuff is really.
Oh, it did work then.
There you go.
So it works on the left-hand side, but not the right-hand side.
All right, there we go. So it's not ambidextrous, but I mean, it's a tiny little thing. But I've seen Chris try it a few times when I mentioned it was on its way, and it's not arrived. Now it's arrived. So a little bit.
In his hands.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Maybe it's got to learn your hand and your movement.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's get there, and it worked intermittently, didn't it? So that's good. We're getting there. We're getting there, which is good. I'm going to move on. So, slightly different design of the homepage of Google Drive. This is all based around Google's Material Design 3. I've put a link to that. I don't know if people are aware of this. Google set the kind of a new design standard for all their work, and we've had lots of updates with the interface for slides and sheets and docs, and now they're kind of doing a few more improvements into Drive. Drive has already changed a bit, but it's now changing more. And one of the things that you'll see is the smart chips start to appear automatically. The smart chips, when they first arrived, didn't appear until you initiated a search. So you have to put something in the search bar, and then the smart chips would appear. But they're now going to, and again, they might already be there for you, but they will start to appear automatically and just give you the option to do searches that little bit quicker, which is great. And we've already mentioned the people chip, and that's been updated, so you can actually have more criteria to design things by. So that's good. So that's the new interface of that. I use Scan for this precise reason, for scanning receipts and things on my phone quite a lot, actually. And there's an update to it to make it better, so that you actually get a better quality picture and things. And you've got the option to import directly from your camera roll into this tool to get it all to work a little bit better. So you should hope, if you do use that yourself, you should see a better kind of experience, and also a faster way to initialize it with the new scanner button. So hopefully you'll be able to make better use of that. You can see the little scanner button on the little GIF there at the end. So that's good news. Yeah. On Android and iOS both, which is good, because there are times when I think, well, why have you done it for iOS first? Which is what they do sometimes do, but there we go.
It's quite good for students that to turn in homework.
All right. Yeah.
You know, done a written bit of homework, or they've drawn something, or done something, or done that they can use that and then turn that in as evidence of the homework in classroom.
Yeah, excellent idea. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, that's exactly right. So this is next evolution of automatic data entry in Google Sheets. This is specifically to do with Duet AI. So it does require you to have a Duet AI, and it's basically Duet AI reads the existing columns, looks at the pattern as you start to fill it out, and once it's got a sense of what the pattern's doing, it will start to make suggestions about what the other rows ought to be filled in for. And so if you are using a spreadsheet for this kind of task, where you think, these are the things I need to do, or these are the messages I need to send back to these people, then it will actually automate that process for you. But like I say, it requires a Duet AI license. But don't forget, you can get a Duet AI license just for a month. You don't have to buy a whole year. £30.24 per person per month. Is that right?
Oh, you were close there. Buy them from Paul. Don't buy them from me. I think it's 31.24, but I will just double check that.
31.24.
I think it is.
Sorry.
Yeah, let me just double check. I will double check that. You might be right, Paul. I'll just double
That's
check
per
that.
person per month, so you can,
Right.
and this will the Duet AI. I think we had conversations, so I'm not kind of being inappropriate to share this. That people say, yeah, we like what it does, but it doesn't currently do enough for one or two people. Certainly, people on the call, and that's great. So, and that feedback was really useful for us. But they are, this will change, and things will develop and grow, and more will be able to do. And this, for me, is data analysis. It's the first step in what you need of a Duet AI tool inside the Google Sheet, that you can do analysis of the data. And it's only a small step, but it's getting there. So hopefully we'll get full-blown data analysis next.
I think, Andy. Is Andy, have you raised your hand for me there, Andy, or not? Because I couldn't get the auto hand raise to work then. But
no, I couldn't get it to work, but I've raised it for another thing. No, just wondered how many people have enabled bard.google.com for their teaching staff already, if anybody, to use it.
Jason has.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they using it for to have a dabble in AI and see what it can do for them?
Different
We've
pockets.
not
across
done it on
the-
ours. It's not on ours yet.
Right. I've enabled it for all our staff, not for students, but for staff.
Yeah, we've enabled it.
Yeah, and quite a few people are using it. Some of our senior leadership team are doing it for creating policies, being quite specific on that and playing around with those criteria. They're finding it really useful. Some of our staff are using it. So,
Adam,
yeah.
what about at IEG, Adam? Have you got Bard enabled for your staff?
We've got Bard enabled for a few staff whilst we was testing, and we're about to flip the switch for all staff to have that shortly.
Great.
Yeah.
And what about you, Theo? Theo still with us?
Disappeared again.
Has he? Not.
Just yeah, Paul, I need to. Sorry, Theo, go on. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was frozen there. I didn't actually catch the question because I had frozen. Something to do with AI.
Andy asked whether, Andy asked whether you've enabled Bard, Google's Bard, for your staff or not.
Yeah, well, we've enabled for just a small number of users, but
Right.
not students yet.
All right, yeah.
Cool.
Same as Adam. Adam's at IEG Group, so yeah, they've done the same, but they're about to move beyond that. And
Yeah.
Pete, you said you have, or you haven't?
No, they won't switch on for anyone.
Oh, right, okay. Not even for a test group.
Nope. I could get something heavy, and yeah, no, they won't even switch it on for us. We're trying. We are trying, and we've signed up for the duet trial,
Right.
to see if anything comes of that. Yeah, but we've not heard anything yet about that either. No. Fingers crossed we'll get that.
Yeah, that was just on that, just to reach out. Also, Paul, I stand corrected. £30.24. You're absolutely right. I know I was thinking of £2.41 for the annual. That's where I got the one from. Too many prices.
Oh, okay. See, I do listen to you sometimes.
Yeah, you do listen to me occasionally, but yeah. I think Sheffield is one of the organisations that Google has chosen to do a little bit of a trial with Duet AI. I think that's in the process of going through, Pete, at the moment, but we're just waiting on Google. They're not always the fastest on this, but fingers crossed.
Yeah,
we might be able to get you something set up. Yeah, I know it's in the process at the moment. They're trying to get that. I don't understand why they didn't release an actual trial, just a 2-week trial or something that anybody could test it out with. I know they've got the rolling monthly, but just to give people a test of it before you actually commit would have been a better idea for me. But you know,
was that maybe what Bard was about? Have a play on Bard, and then this is better.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a funny one. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I mean, it is something that is new within the education sector, that it's linked in directly with all the education tools and whatnot. But yeah, to not even give people the opportunity just to test it seemed like a bit of a strange move to me. Yeah, unusual, but there we go.
Yeah, I've enabled both OpenAI and Bard really for all our staff, just for the 3.5 model. Obviously, Duet and OpenAI version 4 use like a paid for version with an updated language model and data. But I think for most people to get the hang of it and start dabbling with it and see what it can do and explore the opportunities of how they can use AI, then both those free features are worthwhile switching on. Certainly for teaching, academic staff, whatever you want to call them, and your office staff, anybody who's an adult at school, and run them through how to use those.
Yeah. Just
are you aware of Magic School?
Yeah.
MagicSchool.ai.
Yeah, with 8,000 different versions of what you can do with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Some really nice things there. Early language acquisition. You can get all sorts of, you can say, I want a word list for year 3.
Yeah.
On
Magic School's good.
GH grapheme or whatever, so you can, I really like, there's some really nice things in there. And the text maths problems, I forgot what that was called now. You basically say, I want text maths problems I know about surface area of spaces, and it'll, make it about, wallpaper in a house or whatever, and have some triangular walls, or you can be quite specific, and it just comes out with some text problems that the kids then got to translate to a maths problem and all that things. There's some nice things in there. So it's definitely worth having a look, as well as your Bard and your Duet and all the others and things. So
yeah, it's worthwhile having a go at that.
Yeah. So if people aren't aware of that, Magic School, I think it's School of Schools, MagicSchool.ai, I think.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Andy. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. No, it's there's some nice things in there. Okay. So this is Education Plus only. But you can now make little video presentations of your slide decks with the little person of yourself in the corner as you're going through, which is kind of quite nice. So if you want like an audio version or a video version of a lesson that you've done, for people who are absent or whatever, then to be able to build those really quickly is a great little additional tool, I think. And that kind of functionality has been there in other kind of screen recording software like Screencastify, and it's in the free tool Screencast. You can do the same in that, so you could do it that way, but you can actually do it from directly within Google Slide Decks now, which is kind of quite nice. So that's great that you can do it there. But I think they basically just built Screencast directly into Google Slides, which is good. But Education Plus only for that one. This is again part of the same process of getting chat up to date and things. There's a brand new experience for Google Chat on the mobile devices if you're using that, and there's just some screenshots of what it looks like. But you can see the similar things that you can look at threads, you can check your mentions, you can go to the home page, and so on and so forth. So you've got just a kind of new interface when they update the thing. And those are the updates for November. The next update, of course, will be Wednesday, the 3rd of January, just after the new year. I know it's early in the term, but I was just keen to get one, and I thought the next week was going to be too late. Serious face when you raise your hand. Oh, it did it.
I'm just gonna use the button. I'm just gonna use the button now. Yeah, I'm just wondering, Paul. I know that's like the first week back. Is that too early for people, do you think? I don't know what schools are thinking, when schools are actually thinking of coming back. What's the sort of thought on the call? Whether we leave it a week later, I don't know.
I will be hungover.
He'll be in, but he won't be able to focus.
Yeah, we're not back until the 8th.
Right, you're not back until the week after the 8th. I'm just wondering, Paul, I saw the dates in there, and I know we like to get them in at the start of the month. I'm just wondering whether we maybe just have a thing, possibly move.
So let's either using your hand or the button. If you think the following week would be a better idea, raise your hand. Yeah, Chris is on it. Yeah, okay. So the majority there are raising. So that's fine. We can do that. It's easy to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, we can move them, and then we can also have, we can also have the Tuesday and the Wednesday sessions.
We've got this crazy group of people going.
Yeah.
It does it for me.
It was the best update, yeah, but only you can use it. Only you can use it.
Okay, we'll do that. I'll move both the Techie Tuesday and Workspace Wednesday forward a week into January. So it'll be the following week.
One other thing as well, just on the sort of AI integration and whatnot. I'm trying to get next year. We're going to try and get a few sort of guest speakers, if you like, and anyone on the call could be one of these. If you've got a particular thing that you've done or you're interested in sharing with the group, and you want to come on, because most of the sessions, last sort of 25, 35 minutes, we've usually got a good 20-minute slot at the end where we can have a chat. But if anyone's got anything specific that they want to do in one of these sessions, then all you need to do is reach out to me and we can get that set up. I'm trying to sort one out early January or Feb with one of our colleagues who's doing a lot with AI and Bard and practice sets and whatnot. I'm just waiting for confirmation on that. So fingers crossed. I will, of course, send that out and announce it way ahead. And that would definitely be a session that's worth coming along to. Pete, you'll just sit there going, why can't I use this? Why can't I use this?
Yeah, I'll be crying.
Yeah, and I'm not doing it just to wind you up, Pete. No way.
I'll be sulking. I will be sulking in the corner. I will.
Yeah.
Who's stopping you, Pete, at your organisation?
It's our wonderful systems department.
Oh, right. Okay.
What is it like? Is it like a GDPR fear, or what's the sort of thing there?
Yeah, and security and GDPR and anything else you can think of that's security. Just obsessed with security, but
yeah, well, you kind of want them to be that, but in a measured way, don't you? That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
You don't want them to be glib about security, that's for sure.
That's it, yeah.
But it's worth remembering that Bard does use anything you put in there to teach the model. Duet AI doesn't. Everything stays. It doesn't break any sharing permission. So if you've got DLP rules that says, if you put this information and you do not share it outside the organization, then that won't be shared. And it just doesn't share. It doesn't use your searches. Duet AI doesn't use anything you use within your docs and sheets and slides to train the model. So it stays within that instance. And once you finish the instance with Duet AI, that's it. So it is a much more secure. So you can think about doing analysis of student data, for example, or, those kinds of things, because it's secure within your domain. And like I say, as we said earlier, I think there's still work to do with Duet AI to get the functionality higher. And I think it will start piling in hopefully soon. And I think we'll be blown away by it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a much more secure tool built in. Yeah, I am. I think the whole AI thing is just astonishing what it can do. That's the thing. It just saves you so much time.
it'd be great when the day when you can, teaching staff when they've done an assessment can say, or even from their classroom can, use a voice command to say things like, can you let me know the list of students in classroom XYZ who are, not meeting their expected targets, or falling below this, or who are the high achievers, or who didn't understand this concept, and to be able to use that would be fantastic, really. As well as using, data or information rather for lesson planning. I think the lesson plan, I was chatting to our music teacher yesterday, Karen, and she was saying she's really starting to use it because as a teacher with 20, 30 years experience, she knows the results of what comes through. And if you dump that, if you use something like Canva and dump it into a slide deck, it just takes the donkey work out of searching on search engines, finding bits of text, cutting and pasting them, and then trying to organize it all in a slide deck. If you can get it to do that searching and dumping in the slide deck quickly, and then just use your knowledge and experience of that subject matter to really adjust and hone those slides as you suit, you can very quickly become very proficient in creating slide decks for your lessons. And at the end of the day, it's not the slide deck that counts. It's how you use that slide deck as prompts to get your students learning and being inquisitive and engaging in the subject. So I think overly we often tend to spend hours and hours our teaching staff really good presentations when what counts is how the presenter relays that information using the slide deck as a prompt.
The slide deck isn't a quality lesson, it's its delivery that makes it a quality lesson.
It's an enabler, an innate memoir for the students to follow up on.
With my recent experiments with AI, one of the things that I've started to do is I was trying to get it to write a document in my writing style, and rather than just give it a piece of my writing and say, now write me a document about this in my style, I actually got it to interrogate me. So I said, I'm going to ask you to write a piece of work in my writing style. What questions do you need to know to be able to do it properly? And that whole thing about getting it to interrogate you, so it's got, in effect, a set of criteria with which to apply its AI engine to before you actually give it the data you want it to manipulate for real, is quite a game changer, I think. And it's a really good tool. If your staff aren't doing it, it's, I suppose, like metacognition almost, isn't it, for the AI engine? Get it to think about, what do I need to know first? All right, now you've got the information from me. Here's the data I want you to focus on. This piece of text, whatever, or this subject or this topic. And it's quite interesting and I would say that you definitely, and because you do hear people's voices in writing, don't you? You kind of, when you know them, that sounds like the kind of thing you would say. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing, and it's on my list now to start experimenting. Well, now I can do it for just this kind of piece of prose. What else can I do it for? So if I wanted to do some data analysis, or I want to, write a piece of code, I want to write a piece of code that does this. What do you need to know from me first? Just to set the criteria.
I think it's one of those tools that's really going to help teaching staff put the effort into their engagement with kids in class rather than the planning of all the lessons. Especially if they're not overly proficient in, creating slides and adjusting them and using some of the tools. To use some things like Canva, where it does that and dumps it into a slide deck is really useful. Yeah,
absolutely.
The same with other tools like quizzes now do a video AI question. So you pull up a YouTube video and it makes a load of suggestions of questions based on that YouTube video that you can do. I know Google Classroom's got it, but you have to manually create your questions. There's no AI element in there.
No, that's true.
Not yet. It will be there.
Yeah, I think it will. You've got that in Magic Schools, haven't you?
Yeah.
There's a YouTube question in Magic Schools. Yeah. So, but I think I'm with you, Pete. I think that Google will definitely be adding that in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And text transcriptions from documents as well.
Yeah, Quizzes, Seneca, have all got that embedded already in.
Yeah.
You know, so for quick checks of understanding of a module of work, things like Seneca and quizzes are great.
Yeah.
You know, rather than sit there with a blank Google Doc thinking, right, what 10 questions can I write my students for this particular module we've done? You use tools like Seneca and quizzes to do that for you.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
bit of a no-brainer.
It is indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Excellent. Any other questions? Any other comments? Any other thoughts? Well, we'll say thank you very much for your time today then.
Thank you for the
Have a
hat, Chris.
fantastic Christmas.
Yeah, we're going to have one more and have a go with a hand, aren't we? Should we have a group,
Yeah.
say, hand show whether we can get it to work?
I mean, I can't.
No,
Mine didn't work.
It works for me. There you go.
no, Paul Farrell's done it.
Yeah.
Have you just switched it on for you, Paul?
Well, it feels like that. That's what
Maybe
it
it's
feels
to do
like.
with propagation. Maybe next
Yeah.
time you open it and put it on at the beginning, it might work for all of us.
Yeah. Does it work for you, Pete? Because you've got a plain background, haven't you?
Yeah, you heard that.
Did you hear that? Sorry, you're talking to me. Sorry.
Yeah, Pete. Sorry. Does it work for you? I've got a plain background. You.
No. Hand. No.
Oh well.
It's reducing
Next
noise
time.
there for me.
Yeah.
Just wondered if I change it to a
There
grayscale.
was an adapter that was in the box. The
That's
jack.
annoying.
Oh yeah, grayscale it works.
Thank you.
Excellent. So I change that to grayscale.
Nice.
There you go. So yeah, that's that work to do on that.
Work with
Cool.
backgrounds. If I change it, my background to my real workplace, see what it does. No. No, it works on the grayscale. That's strange. Oh well.
Well, it's been great. There's a group of professional people going. We've gone crazy. It's like one flew over the cookies.
I quite like the button.
Yeah, I'm like
I don't know.
everyone's liking the button a lot more now.
Yeah, the button and the
It'll
beam.
get there.
Let's
It'll
go
get
for
there.
that one.
Yeah. Right.